Hey everybody, JR here from the Bet Big Talk Loud podcast. It is Monday, January 5th. What a game last night. I normally am not going to go into recap, but boy, oh boy, NFL really knows how to end a season. Sunday night football between the Ravens and Steelers looked like it was going to go way under the total, and then the fourth quarter came around, and man, oh man, did they ever put on some serious offense. Not only that, but man, talk about an ending to a game that if you were going to script it, I don't know, that was kind of fun. Boswell, one of the money kickers of all time for the Pittsburgh Steelers, misses an extra point. And then, of course, everybody saw what happened at the end of that game. It should have been a easy field goal, chip shot for Loop. Unfortunately for him, misses the chip shot, goes wide right out the gate, and Pittsburgh Steelers are now in the playoffs playing on their favorite night, Monday Night Football, against a contender that is probably beatable with the Houston Texans. And, of course, Pittsburgh will actually be getting home field advantage for this matchup. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of a insight here on what to expect on kind of who I'm buying, who I'm selling on some of these teams, what the point spreads are currently today as of Monday. 12-5 Rams, and you know, the 12-5 Rams going on the road to take on the 8-9 Carolina Panthers sounds a little unfair out the gate that the 12-5 team has to go on the road, but the way the NFL playoffs are set up, it does give Carolina the home field advantage, and there's a reason that, of course, that the Rams are minus 10.5 already in this matchup. And I mean, let's face it, Carolina came out the gate like absolute dog snot this year, and they had to get not just multiple wins, but they needed a lot of help to get into the playoffs. The help, of course, of the Atlanta Falcons getting a W, which they didn't get the cover against the Saints, backdoor cover by the Saints in that matchup yesterday, Sunday. But here we are with the Panthers now looking at a home matchup against a team that everyone was saying 3-4 weeks ago was the best team in football. Now, of course, they had a couple of really bad games. They did get a win and a cover against a beleaguered Arizona team as of yesterday, but still, before that matchup, Matthew Stafford had the MVP in his hand. Now, of course, everyone knows Drake May is a hands-on favorite to get it. There's an argument to be made for multiple other players to be able to get it. Puka Nacua is obviously in that discussion as well. But, the Rams, throughout the duration of this year, and they did not get that beat up as far as injury. They really were the best team in not just the NFC, but probably in the NFL. Are they going to put it back together? We're going to see in this matchup. Again, going on the road to take on the Panthers, who, by the way, Bryce Young obviously playing much better football. Just all around, this team very, very balanced. They know how to run the football. And when you can run the football, just about anybody can throw the football, and that's what they've been able to prove. And now getting 10.5 plus at home, playing with house money. You guys know I've been a seller of the Carolina Panthers most of the year and a big buyer of the LA Rams, but here we are, and I'm kind of neutral on the Rams at this point going into the playoffs, and if you're not buying just a little bit of stock in Carolina, I think you're crazy. Even someone like me who's been against them and calling them fugazi and smoke and mirrors for most of the year. 9-7 Packers also on Saturday going on to take down the Bears, who are 11-6. The Bears are at home, Soldier Field. They're going to be laying only 1.5 in this matchup. Now, I was a big buyer of the Bears. You guys know this if you've listened to my shows. You know that I really have a lot of respect for what they've been able to do there. It shows you what a new head coach, a guy like Ben Johnson, to be able to come in there, being an offensive genius, showed also not only what he's able to do with Chicago, but what happened when he left Detroit. You know, this Detroit team not only didn't make the playoffs, but offensively, they really didn't have, really much of the same culture there. And I think that it was a very frustrating year for both the offense and the defense in Detroit. But, I mean, the Bears, I can't say I'm buying anymore, especially with their with this last matchup just over the weekend. I just don't. I mean, yeah, they came back. They were able to tie the game. They don't get the cover. They don't get the W. But they've just been a little, yes, much improved, doing much better, but not exactly a team that I'm going to say going into the playoffs has much of a chance of being able to go deep. So Packers, obviously, with the loss of Micah Parsons defensively, they've completely fallen apart, but their identities are going to be there for them, especially if they get Jordan Love back for the playoffs, and I think that offense is going to come alive. getting a point and a half at Soldier Field. We know the rivalry here. It's going to be a tough game for both teams. Could be a toss-up. Of course, if you guys are doing business with us, we're going to have a nice pick on that game. Now, the Bills. This was a tough team all year to kind of get a handle on. The Bills, everybody had them picked to win, to at least go to the Super Bowl this year, represent the AFC. And at times, especially at the beginning of the year, they were smoking the competition. And then all of a sudden, they'd go against teams and it just not get off the plane, not even show up to the field. So, for them to be a favorite on the road against a red-hot Jacksonville team, let's face it, Jacksonville really held their own destiny, have done everything that they had to do at the end of the season. And that offense, really starting to come alive, obviously. I love watching what's going on. I think if there's anybody that's been much deserved, it's been that kid. And let's face it, this is a team that has not had, talking about identity, they haven't had one for a number of years now since the Urban Meyer debacle. They've just been in shambles, kind of going back and forth. But now there's a new culture there. They really are becoming cohesive at the right time. The NFL playoffs is all about who's hot at the right time. And right now, if I was in the AFC, the Jaguars are not a team I'd be wanting to see. And the Bills, of course, is the other team that no one wants to see in the AFC. So for the two of them to be battling it out, I think it's going to be a great game on Sunday. Also on Sunday, you got the 49ers, who, by the way, they're 12-5. They lost a big game this past week. They're going on into Philadelphia to take on the Eagles, who are sitting at around 11-6 right now. Eagles are a favorite in this matchup by more than a field goal. It's up to, I believe, 4.5 as of the taping of this snippet. But the 49ers, man, they're healthy finally for the first time in a while and have pretty much everybody ready to go. CMC is going to be strong. Brock Purdy's obviously going to be out there. They just seem to be coming together. But at the same time, they've also had the weakest schedule in the last 25 years of any team. And that's because of how poorly they did last year. And now, I mean, listen, you play the schedule you're handed, right? Life hands you lemons, you make lemonade. That's kind of the way they've looked at it, and they've done their job. That's why their record is what it is. But there's a reason that they're getting points, again, against a Eagles team that looked like it was kind of falling apart towards the end of the year. But Sirianni's got, I mean, if you look at his career with the Eagles, even, winning a Super Bowl with them, this is a team that gets hot most of the time. But there's a lot of cold spots in there, but they seem to work their way through it, and it never really drags them completely down. I think there's a reason that they're a 4.5-point favorite. But that could be, again, another really close matchup. Could be a backdoor cover. Could even be an outright win for San Francisco. We're obviously going to have a nice big pick on that as well. Then that brings us to the last game on Sunday, and that's going to be the Chargers sitting 11-6, taking on the Patriots. Now, if you guys have been listening to me throughout the year, I've been saying it. Chargers, if they had an offensive line, would be even better than they are. I mean, this kid Herbert just gets hit time and time again. More sacks than anyone else in the NFL, I believe, this year. I don't know if that's coming from left field or not, but from last I saw it, I mean, he's just getting sacked left and right. If they can get a little bit better of a running game going as well, I think it's going to be very helpful. But they obviously sat everybody last week. They had Trey Lance go out there and play quarterback. And just giving that time to rest, I think, is going to come in, in a big way, especially now. Look, this New England team, another team with a weak schedule. They had a very poor year last year, so schedule that was very beneficial, especially with a new head coach and a lot of rookies that are playing out of their seats, out of their pants. The offense is still young. This is a very up-and-coming team that I think is going to be something that, the AFC is going to have to be in fear of over the next 5 to 10 years. They're just too new. You got 5 kids on offense that I think the experience of not just the Chargers, but even if New England wins this team, they're going to meet a team with a lot more experience. And I just don't see them going all the way, even though you have obviously a very front-running MVP candidate with Drake May in this matchup. So a lot to break down. We're going to be doing it in the Bet Big Talk Loud podcast with my co-host Chris Hodge. Plus, make sure you're tuning in around the country for the sports information show. And look, guys, if you're serious about making money, you definitely want to get in touch with us. The number to get in touch with us is 888-994-6669. That's 888-9-WIN-NOW. And one thing I like to say to end everything that I do is, if you guys know who I am, Let's do it. Let's go out there and make some money.